Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine. So this is the third video of this lesson. In my first two videos we have uh, read and I have explained till paragraph 2 of page number 5. So today we will be going through the remaining paragraphs of page number 5 and then page number 7. On page number 6 you can see the map of France. So we'll try to finish this story, this lesson today. So what we have read in this chapter, what is the story which we have come across in this lesson as of now? Let us once again recall, then we will be continuing with this lesson. So in the beginning we have seen this story is set during Franco-Prussian War, in which two districts of France, Alsace and Lorraine, were captured by Prussia. They were captured by Prussia. They passed into Prussian hands. So now it affected the schooling in Alsace and Lorraine. An order had come from Berlin for not teaching of French in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. So they wanted to impose their language on the people of these two districts. They wanted to impose German on the people of these two districts. They banned the teaching of French in Alsace and Lorraine when these two districts of France were passed into Prussian hands. In the story, the little Franz is narrator who tells the whole story. So that day, little Franz got late for school. Not got late, he started very late for school because he was in a great fear of being scolded from M. Hamel. He had a great fear of being scolded by M. Hamel. So that is why he did not dare to go to school on time. He willingly did not want to go to school because he had a great fear of being scolded by M. Hamel, as he did not learn the rules of participles which he was given to learn. But somehow he went to school, but when he was passing the town hall, passing through the town hall, he saw a crowd standing in front of the bulletin board. They were reading the news. So he thought for a moment that what could be the matter now, because according to him only bad news were coming. Bad news like lost battles, orders of commanding officers and drafts were coming from there. So finally he controlled his desire and hurried off to school. When he reached school, he found the school was totally different. It was not usual as it used to be. The school was serious and silent. And the thing which was very strange for him, he saw the people, the old houser, the former postmasters, they were sitting at the back benches. When MML announced that an order had come from Berlin that only German would be taught in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine, then he came to know what was the matter. And then he came to know, then he realized that how the old men of village were sitting at the back benches which used to be empty usually. So let's see what happened next in the story. Page number 3 of paragraph 5. I heard M. Hamel say to me, I won't scold you. So when little Franz was asked to recite the rules of participles, he got mixed up. He could not recite. At this, he was told by M. Hamel that he won't scold him. I won't scold you, little Franz. You must feel bad enough. See how it is. Every day we have said to ourselves, Bah, I have plenty of time. Bah here, an expression of disapproval, an expression of anger. He said every day we were keep saying that we have enough time for learning the things, and we were postponing the things, delaying the things, putting off the things, and we were thinking I will learn it tomorrow, and they were thinking that they would learn the language the next day. Now you see where we have come out. That's the great trouble with Alsace. She puts off learning till tomorrow. He said, see where we have reached. We were always putting off the learning for the next day. Then see what happened. And it's a great mistake. We did a great mistake. The people of Alsace did a great mistake by putting off the learning the next day. And see where we have reached. Now those fellows out there will have the right to say to you, how is it you pretend to be Frenchmen, and yet you can neither speak nor write your own language? So he said, now the Germans would say, you pretend to be a Frenchman. You cannot write in French, nor you can speak French. So we have given an opportunity to German. We have given an opportunity to German to say it, to call it that we just pretend to be a French, because we cannot speak or we cannot write in French. So we are just pretending, according to M. Hamel. But you are not the worst, poor little Franz. Further he said, it was not Franz who was responsible for it. We have all a great deal to reproach ourselves with. He said we all should express our disapproval, disappointment. It is not about you, little Franz. It is for all. Your parents were not anxious enough to have you learn. So he said your parents were not, they were not bothering for your learning. They were not worried about your learning. They preferred to put you to work on a farm or at the mills so as to have a little more money. So he said your parents were sending you to work on a farm or at the mills so that they could earn more money, and I have been to blame also. He said M. Hamel was also responsible for this, for the people of Alsace and Lorraine who did not learn the language. He also held himself responsible for the same. Have I not often sent you to water my flowers instead of learning your lessons? He said, I am also responsible because I used to send you to water my plants for not instead of learning the lessons. And when I wanted to go fishing, did I not just give you a holiday? Further, he said, when he wanted to go fishing, so he used to give them a holiday. Then, from one thing to another, M. Hamel went on to talk of the French language, saying that it was the most beautiful language in the world. He said the French was the most beautiful language in the world, the clearest and the most logical. According to him, French was the most clearest and it was the most logical language in the world. That we must guard it among us and never forget it. He said we must protect, we must guard this language among us and we never forget it. Because when a people are enslaved, as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. He said, so as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. So language is like a key to their prison, prison for enslaved people. According to him, for enslaved people, the language is like prison, key to the prison. Then he opened a grammar and read us our lesson. Then he opened a grammar lesson and read them their lessons. I was amazed to see how well I understood it. Little Franz said that he was amazed that he could understand each and every word that day. All he said seemed so easy, so easy. I think too that I had never listened so carefully. So that day he was finding everything very easy, because before that day he did not pay attention. He was not attentive in the class. But that day he was very attentive. He was listening to M. Hamel very carefully. So that is why he found it very interesting. He could learn each and everything. And that he had never explained everything with so much patience. And before that day, M. Hamel never explained anything with so much patience. It seemed almost as if the poor man wanted to give us all he knew before going away. and to put it all into our heads at one stroke. So it seemed that he wanted to teach each and everything what he knew about French language to the students before going away. He wanted to put each and everything into their heads at one stroke. So in one day he wanted to teach, in that particular time period, he wanted to teach each and everything. So the way he was teaching. After the grammar, we had a lesson in writing. After grammar, they had a lesson in writing. That day, M. Hamel had new copies for us, written in a beautiful round hand. So that day, M. Hamel was having new copies for his students, and they were written in beautiful round hand. What was written on it? It was written in beautiful round hand, France, Alsace, France, Alsace. They looked like little flags floating everywhere in the schoolroom. So those words, France, Alsace, looked like little flags floating everywhere in the schoolroom, hung from the rod at the top of our desks. So it was hanging on the top of their desks. You ought to have seen how everyone set to work. So the narrator once again said, the readers must have seen everyone was doing their work, and how quiet it was. How quiet it was. The class was very quiet. The only sound was the scratching of the pens over the paper. The only sound could be heard in the class, and it was the writing sound, the scratching of the pen over the paper. Once some beetles flew in, but nobody paid any attention to them. Once some beetles came inside, they were flying, but no one paid any attention to them. Not even the littlest ones, who worked right on the dressing their fish hooks as if that was French too. So even the little students, they did not pay attention as they were working on their fish hooks as if that was French too. On the roof, the pigeons cooed very low. The pigeons were cooing very low, and I thought to myself, will they make them sing in German? And the narrator Little Franz thought that if they have problem in language, so will they teach these pigeons to sing in German? Because they hate language. They want everyone to speak in German. So will they teach these pigeons also how to speak in German? The Little Franz thought. On the roof, the pigeons cooed very low, and I thought to myself, will they make sing in German, even the pigeons? Whenever I looked up from my writing, I saw M. Hamel sitting motionless in his chair and gazing first at one thing, then at another, as if he wanted to fix in his mind just how everything looked in that little schoolroom. So he was Every time, whenever Franz looked up, he found M. Hamel gazing at the things one after another, the way he wanted to capture the pictures of those things in his mind, the way he was looking the things one after another. Because he had been teaching in the same school since last 40 years, and it was his last lesson. After this day he would not be teaching there. He was going to leave that place. Fancy, for 40 years he had been there in the same place, with his garden outside the window and his class in front of him. Fancy, for 40 years he had been there, and he was looking outside the window at his little garden. So all these things he was looking at as he wanted to capture the pictures of those things, and he must be missing those things. Just like that. Only the desks and benches had been worn smooth. So, what was the difference in these 40 years? Only the desks and benches became worn smooth, became smooth. The walnut trees in the garden were taller, and the hope vine that he had planted himself twined about the windows to the roof. So, what were the changes took place those 40 years? So, the walnut trees in the garden were taller, and the hope vine that he had planted himself twinned about the windows to the roof. How it must have broken his heart to leave it all, poor man, to hear his sister moving about in the room above, packing their trunks, for they must leave the country next day. So, how heartbreaking it would be that he was going to leave the place where he had been living since last 40 years, and the country which was his no more. So the sound of packing the trunks, packing the things was could be heard. His sister was packing the things. The sound of this could be heard there. So these things were really heart-wrenching things for him. But he had the courage to hear every lesson to very last. But even though he taught every lesson till last, after the writing, we had a lesson in history, and then the babies chanted their ba, be, boo, bo, boo, their ba, be, be, bo, boo. Down there at the back of the room, old Hauser had put on his spectacles and, holding his primer in both hands, spelled the letters with them. But he had the courage to finish the last lesson. Then they had a history lesson. After that, the little students, they sang their Ba Baby Bobu song, and old Hauser was holding the primer and he was reading the letters of the primer. You could see that too was crying. You could see that he too was crying. His voice trembled with emotion. So The Hauser's voice was also trembling with emotions, and it was so funny to hear him that we all wanted to laugh and cry. And it was very, funny to hear him that everyone wanted to laugh and cry. Ah, how well I remember it, the last lesson. So Franz said how well he remembered his last lesson. All at once the church clock struck 12. Then the church clock struck 12. Then the Angelus, a type of prayer which is held in Christianity at 12 o'clock. So the prayer took place. At the same moment, the trumpets of the Prussians returning from drill sounded under our windows. So at the same time, they heard the sound of trumpet which was made by Prussian army when they were returning, when they were coming back to home. Hammer stood up very pale in his chair. I never saw him look so tall. Then Hammer stood up. He was looking very pale. He was looking very, that day he was looking very tall. My friends, said he, I, but something choked him. He said, my friends, he wanted to say something, but something choked him. He could not go on. He could not complete his statement. Then he returned to the blackboard. Then M. Hamel returned to the blackboard, took a piece of chalk, and bearing on with all his might and applying all his power, he wrote as large as he could, Vive la France. So he took a piece of chalk and on the board he write as big as he could write. He wrote on the board, Vive la France. Vive la France, meaning long live France. Then he stopped and leaned his head against the wall. Then M. Hamel stopped and he leaned against the wall, and without a word and without saying a word, he made a gesture to us with his hand. With his hand he just made a gesture. And what type of gesture? What he said in his gesture? He said, school is dismissed, you may go. He said to all the students as well as the village people who were there, who were present in the class, he could not speak out of emotion. Okay, he just made gesture, and he made a gesture to them with his hand and asked them that they may leave. So it's all about the story in which we have seen how language chauvinism has been showed in this story. How much M. Hamel used to love his language. In the same way, dear students, every countryman must love his her language. According to M. Hamel, language is the key of prison for enslaved. So language plays a very important role for any country. Language chauvinism must be in each and every spirit. So this lesson we have finished. Now question answers which are given in between the lessons, and at the end of the lesson we will be discussing in the next video. So thank you students for watching this video. See you tomorrow.